To things in Isla Vista, the very latest there, the college town rocked once again by a shooting, and has come nearly 1 year after Elliot Rodger killed 6 people. This morning, there are now 2 suspects involved in last night's shooting in custody. News Channel 3 senior reporter John Palminteri is live at the scene on the 6500 block of Sabado Tarde with the latest on this developing story. John?
And this remains a very active investigation this morning here in Isla Vista. And once again, it leans towards a storyline that may involve guns, gangs, and drugs. We're in front of the apartment building here where 4 people have been hurt. 2 arrests have been made. Let's take you back to the very start of this last night, just after 7 o'clock out here in Isla Vista when we arrived on the scene. The sheriff's department got here and immediately found 3 wounded people and transported them to Goleta Valley Cottage Hospital. 2 had been shot. 1 had injuries to his head. Not too long after that, a 4th person arrived at the hospital with injuries that he said occurred in a car crash on the UC Santa Barbara campus. It ended up that he was involved, according to the sheriff's department. None of the injuries are believed to be life-threatening. The 2 arrested are 19-year-old Jose Gutierrez of Goleta and 22-year-old James Taylor of Lompoc. A gun has been recovered. The type of gun is not known at this time. The suspects are facing charges of attempted murder, robbery, participating in a criminal street gang. And the sheriff's department says the getaway car has also been found. And we're going to find out a little bit more about this now. Joining us live is Kelly Hoover from the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Department. Kelly, do you know what brought all these young men together in this apartment building?
Investigators right now are trying to determine that. What we do know is that Jose Gutierrez and James Taylor came to this residence and they were acquainted with the UCSB students here, or at least Jose Gutierrez was. Somehow a fight broke out. It was an argument that elevated to a fight that elevated into violence, where 2 of the victims have injuries consistent with gunshot wounds.
You say consistent with gunshot wounds. To explain that for me now. Were these gunshot wounds, or is it still part of the investigation?
That's part of the investigation. The injuries do appear to be consistent with gunshot wounds, and a handgun was found at the scene. And
one was through and through in the shoulder, and where was the other injury? It was in the abdomen?
Yes.
Okay. Were drugs involved?
Right now we are trying to determine what the motivating factor was in all of this, and that is definitely a possibility that is being investigated.
Do you know what kind of gun it was?
We do. We are not releasing that at this time.
Do you know how the 4th person got to the hospital?
The 4th person. So 3 people were transported, one of them being the suspect. The 4th person was Jose Gutierrez. He fled the scene in a white 4-door sedan, and then soon after walked right into the Goleta Valley Cottage Hospital, said he'd been in an accident, like you said, and it was determined that he had been involved and that he was actually a suspect in this case.
Can you tell me what his injuries were?
We're not releasing his injuries. They were serious enough that he had to be transferred to Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital.
Okay, and what happens this morning?
This morning, detectives continue to investigate and try and figure out exactly what happened here. Everyone is in the hospital recovering that was involved, and we're just very pleased that there were no fatalities, no deputies or law enforcement were injured.
Okay, Kelly Hoover with Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Department. Counseling services are available at UC Santa Barbara for students who need that kind of help. Unlike last year's incident with the Elliot Rodger spree that was all over Isla Vista, this was confined to this apartment building right here. It's a very narrow site, and the rest of Isla Vista appears to be as normal as it can be this morning. Reporting from the scene in Isla Vista, I'm John Palminteri, News Channel 3.
John, thank you for all that updated information. Meanwhile, UCSB's chancellor is speaking out this morning. He's been briefed on the shooting that took place just outside the campus. His statement reads in part, "We are grateful for the vigilance and quick response of the sheriff's office and the UCSB PD to keep our campus and our community safe. The safety of our students and campus is our highest priority, and we remain fully committed to continuing to address the challenges in Isla Vista." UCSB does want to remind students that counseling services are available 24 hours a day. There's also an escort program that provides courtesy escorts for students and community members traveling on campus and in Isla Vista. And Richard Martinez, the father of 20-year-old UCSB student Chris Martinez, one of the 6 victims killed in Elliot Rodger's massacre last year in Isla Vista, released this statement. "It is the worst kind of reminder that gun violence can happen at any time and any place. This year, while I should be celebrating Christopher's graduation from UCSB, I'll be honoring his life, a life that was senselessly cut short."
And stay with News Channel 3 and KUYT.com throughout the day for the very latest out of Isla Vista. And tonight, of course, live coverage, News Channel 3, 5 and 6 o'clock.
Well, last